Okay, let's go ahead and get started with Chapter 3. This is Managing System Projects. Have some new and exciting things to talk to you about. We have project planning, scheduling, monitoring, and reporting. I want to show you a project triangle so you can look, and that may help you a little bit. We'll do a project breakdown and then talk about a Gantt chart and a PERT chart. Along with CPM, you'll be able to do one of those. Then you can see the other, understanding why projects sometimes fail. So here's a project triangle: cost, scope, and time. You have to measure those. Again, you have to look at the cost of a project, because if it overruns too much, it may never recover. So companies have to be able to schedule this and understand what shapes a project. What is it? Money? Is it time? Is it the scope of the project? Those have to be looked at. The project manager. Now here we're going to get into some systems management software called Project Manager. This is one of the free programs that Western supplies for you, so you need to download it. Instead of me creating a lot of videos, you can go online and look up YouTube videos, and you have to do some rudimentary stuff with Project Manager, so it's very easy to do. I would expect you ought to have no problems at all. But if you need something, then you can go to YouTube and get that, or contact me, and I'd be glad to work with you on this. But I don't expect any problems to arise over using Project Manager for what we're going to do. Part of the planning process is scheduling, monitoring, and then reporting and bringing back. So what does the project manager do? Well, he creates a work breakdown. He or she creates a work breakdown schedule. And you can see down at the bottom at a Gantt chart. And here's your different tasks, and then here's the time that it takes. And this can be quite precise. Project Manager does this based on what you plug in. It creates the pictures for you. A PERT chart, or a program evaluation review technique, and I don't think we're going to do critical path. I don't think I had you do critical path in there, but you still need to understand that, and you will looking at this right now. But the Gantt chart, of course, at the top, and then the PERT chart on the different analyses right here. And then, of course, the next thing you would do would be to fill in on these and plan this out. These pictures are designed for you to complete, and a picture says 1,000 words, and that's the whole purpose of this right now. So breaking this stuff down, how small do you have to break it down into? Whatever is manageable, and you may have to do it a couple of times in a company, and breaking these down. Some of the tasks that you would develop, for instance, if you wanted to do a questionnaire and the event is this, then you prepare it, distribute it, await the return, and then you tabulate or analyze the response, and then you prepare a report on this, and then you submit that right there. The structure right here is only as good as it would do. Now, a lot of these, when you're doing this, you do a reverse planning. This is a technique not discussed much in civilian. Being retired military, we were used to doing reverse planning. For instance, if I am going to do something, I will start at the end and work backwards. If I am going to do a the author uses this right now, what we're doing for this, and you would start down here and work this way instead of working down right now. So when is this due? For instance, if I was doing a military mission and I was inserting soldiers into a combat zone, then I would look and see what time does the Air Force want the troops to be inserted, because they're going to blanket the area. They're going to bomb the area and blanket the area and preserve it and everything. So if they're going to do it at 10:30 in the morning, then I'll bring the troops in at 10:35. Everything is settled down. But you reverse plan that. So my time on target would be 10:35. How long does the flight take? Well, it takes 30 minutes. So you back that up to 10:05, and then you keep working backwards like that until you get time to actually run the helicopters or run the airplanes up uh, to do performance monitoring and everything to get ready before the mission. So that's how you back it up and do reverse planning. That is about the smoothest way to make stuff like this work. Duration depends on different things. Do you put a lot of fudge factor in there? Yeah, no, not really. If you do, then you'll end up doing that forever. If a feasibility study says that it'll take a week, you may want to add a day or 2 days to this one step, but I wouldn't add a whole lot more than 10%. I would keep it 10% or less. You can see the constraints on the previous slide that demonstrated this right now. So you're down here, and you just keep working down to this point and see how long this takes. Now, if you're ordering on marketing materials and you're also loading the new software, can you work consecutive tasks? Absolutely. And you would have different teams doing different projects up here. But you want to have the end result when you roll this out for a dress rehearsal or a mission or whatever you're trying to do. Then you want all these to come together, but you can certainly override that. This is operating in parallel, and that's how we should be functioning. Your book does a good job on this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this for you to get through this right now. Your sequence of events get tasked with certain words. You have patterns to go with: when, where, and who. Your complex task, notice they have a sequence of events here. From this you can go to 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6 off of 3. What is 4? Well, this is an end task right here. This is demonstrated a little different when you start doing a flow chart. We're not going to spend a lot of time in flow charts. You have a critical path that you must take. If your critical path analysis determines that this would be not the path to take or the correct path to take, whichever way you want to look at that, then you need to determine that before you get started. You also have closeout points. So if you end up at a certain point and you're past your time, then you may have to actually scrap the project. It can be disastrous enough. The last thing you want to do is continue to throw good money after bad. You've heard that term before. That's a slang term, meaning don't keep feeding something that is ultimately destined to fail. If it's going to fail, cut your losses early, be done with it, and move on and learn something from the next time. The PERT chart, you will do one of these, has 5 tasks, and you can see where it begins. This is just an ID number, the duration, and then I'm moving on this right now. And I'd like you to look at the critical path. Critical path is 1, 2, 4, 5, and not 1, 2, 3. And this is based on the duration and based on the time that you have on the constraints that you put in here. Your constraints may be for 90 days or 80 days or something like that. Maintaining the schedule, reporting, that was the last part that I showed you at the beginning. Those reports need to be accurate and timely. These are just PERT examples, definitions of this. I gave you one of these in your assignment that I'll show you soon. And again, you can see the critical path. Project management you're gonna work with. It's a very expensive program. Again, you will get it free. It's easy to use. There's directions built in. However, if I was doing this, I would go out online and look, and depending on the version that you download, I think you will have Microsoft Project 2016. That is the newest one that Western has. I would go out and download that. Then I would use that and find a YouTube video to show you how to do a Gantt chart. It'll take 3 minutes to learn. Again, if you have problems, you can contact me and I can help you with this. Right now, there's not a lot to what I want you to do. Again, you will fill out this information over here with the duration. This will be drawn in for you. Same as with the PERT, the critical path. Now, every time you're doing something, you have risk that you have to play. It could be a time risk, could be a safety risk. It just depends on what you have defined the project scope is going to be and what risk and what part you're going to play. You have to analyze that. Sometimes you can't do what you want to do, or you have to alter that because the risk is too high. When you do a risk analysis, depending on where the factors are, we always look at risk as being a safety factor, but sometimes risk is spending too much money. Your project may never have a payback. I've seen companies go into business and go out of business because their payback was so long that the cost of living, that their all the rates that change annually, the interest rates and everything, would never allow them to make any money. That's silly to do stuff like that. So you have to look at this, and it has to be a good risk in order to do this. Sometimes the impact is disastrous. This is a risk matrix, the probability of risk and the risk impact. Obviously, you want to be to the lower left-hand corner as close as you can. This is not good up here. Notice the green, yellow, and red, and then look at the different areas. You'll have to understand that a little bit and plot that. Be exact when you plot this. Don't be, don't, again, fudge factor is one thing, but out and right saying something's not going to work is not good. If it gets to the point, you may have to be have your project changed on this right now. Successful management is as good as the planning process and the looking at cost overruns. And again, here's where you'll put in a certain percentage that you'll have an allowable cost overrun. There are companies, the larger they are, the more critical, and the more a small company may allow a 10% or 20% cost overrun. I promise you a large business will not. We're down in the points and tenths of a point for cost overrun. And if it gets to a certain point, you have to pull the plug on this. Companies can't continue to hemorrhage money. I see it again and again. The scheduling issues have to do with people, have to do with the circumstances that you have no control over. It may be weather. It may be the companies that have based their future on wars. They're selling war materials, bombs and bullets and stuff like that, are basing their future on conflict. So there's so much they can get involved on trying to schedule this and move everything around. So the bottom line for this right now is project managers must be smart. You can take that as being alert or competent or resourceful, but they must be smart. Communication is the downfall. That really needs to be the first bullet, and when there's problems develop. So let's take a look at your chapter activity now. There'll be in chapter 2 we did a preliminary. You'll finish it up with this one right now, or maybe there's one more, but you'll certainly do the next step right now. You'll do a task list with the duration, and you can put that into a Gantt chart, and you'll create a PERT chart. It's a PERT example right there that I just pulled offline and put on there for you. Oh, fairly simple. Excuse me. So project management, what is it? Planning, scheduling, monitoring, reporting. And the successful project, and then the project triangle that we briefly discussed. Project monitoring software, what you do with this. Critical path, that if you delay that, you would delay the completion and possibly the success of the project. You'll do a Gantt chart. represents the project schedule. You'll do a PERT chart that shows the network diagram by your task that are connected. And then you will do this through Microsoft Project. I want you to demonstrate to me that you know how to use Microsoft Project. Again, I'm not expecting anything elaborate, but could you do all of this with just block diagrams? Absolutely. You could do this in Excel with block diagrams. I want you to learn Microsoft Project. There's too many little videos out there that you can do 2 or 3 things and get an idea of how to use that. So that's all I have. Good day.